Well. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Ben. How are you?
I'm as well as can be expected. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good to hear. And we have the man in the corner. Well, he's really a voice in the corner. Adam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I am here. I am just incognito today.
Well,
which part of the country is that?
In the corner, John. I'm in the corner.
He's in the corner, yeah. The man in the corner, as you can see there. Good afternoon, everybody watching on whatever platform you are watching on. It's good to see you, and hopefully more come in as we go. But hey, John, do your thing.
I'd like to welcome one and all to this episode 128 of Chasing Dissent Live. With me, the man formerly in the van, now hunkering in the bunker, and with Ben on the South Coast studio, and with our esteemed colleague in the corner.
He's here.
I am here.
He's here. He's arrived.
I don't know what I did, but it worked.
It worked.
J'arrive.
It works. There you go. The man is back in the corner.
Il arrive.
Well, I say in the corner. He's really front and centre, really, isn't he? When we're all in main view. But John, what's been going on in the world then?
Well, you may ask that because we kind of came to our senses yesterday, right? And something we'd watched on Friday twigged with us, didn't it?
Yeah, do tell.
Yeah. Well, Rise with Sonia Poulton on BNT.
Our esteemed colleague, yes.
Dr. Tess Laurie on it.
It did.
And she was going on about a press conference that they were going to run on Tuesday.
Tomorrow, at the time of recording this.
The World Council for Health, which is a bit of a made-up organisation. You know, it's a ragtag bunch of of doctors and whatever that have come together to declare themselves the World Council for Health and to fight against the WHO. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, fine.
Absolutely fine.
Everybody does their own thing. And she was going to a bit of press conference, and Dr. Asim Malhotra, who, as you know, started out on the side of the mainstream narrative. Well, I was just going to say mainstream narrative, and has come kind of full circle and is now speaking out against mainstream narrative. And he's been apparently doing a lot of research, which, you know, let's face it, there's been a lot of research done. He's published a paper which seems to have been peer-reviewed.
By his mates.
Well, that's the very nature of peer review.
Absolutely it is, by the way.
Peer review just means that your peers reviewed it. And if your peers happen to be your mates, then basically your mates reviewed it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's what's happened. And this is what we've been getting teased about for the last 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks today. It's 14 days today that these big teases have been coming out.
And we thought, this isn't fair because this and I'd like to give you credit for this term, but this is just hopium for the masses.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it was continually put out as this will be groundbreaking, it will be wide-ranging, it's irrefutable evidence. Well, you know, is it? Is it really?
Well, but
is it groundbreaking? I mean, what real difference is it going to make? Because let's face it, if you've been following the situation for the last 2 years,
more than 2 years,
what could anyone say now that would really change your mind, one way or the other?
And, you know, we don't mean to sound pessimistic when we're talking about this. We just want to give people a little bit of a dose of reality. And, yeah, people might not like what we're saying. But the fact of the matter is that this strategy, and someone said in the chat here, said, I think the strategy was badly flawed. I don't think it was flawed. I'm going to use a term. I'm going to use a term, and I'm going to sound hyperbolic here, but I think it was horrible. And I think it was horrible to people's emotions. I think it's horrible to people's hopes. And you know what? This peer review paper, and we will watch the press conference. We might not stream it live, but we will watch it. This piece of paper may well be absolutely 100% true, right? And so the action that would need to be taken off the back of this I would fully support if that were the case. As in, things need to stop going out en masse. However, they're saying that this paper will save lives. And that's what they are alleging and they are alluding to. And this is why I want to go back to horrible, because if you've got something, it's now day 14 since they first said that they've got this. If you've got something that you know could save lives, and I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but from yesterday, but all you do is you go on the Twitters and you say, oh, we've got something that will save lives, but you can't know about it. Isn't that letting people die? I don't mean to sound hyperbolic.
Yeah, if it's true, yeah. Well, then for every day that you fail to tell someone something that potentially could save lives, then more people will have died. If that's the truth, you know. So it's not something that anyone with any kind of heart would do, surely.
Well, to me, it's not something that should have been done at all. And we'll go back to that term hopium, because that's what we've got here. They were feeding hopium to the masses. And you just have to look at the responses to after we forced the hand of the reveal, and we did, right? But we forced the hand of the reveal late last night. And you've just got to look at the responses to that reveal. And there's so many people saying, you know, this is disappointing. You fed us hope. You gave us this. You gave us that. And the response last night was essentially a slaughter, metaphorically.
Yeah, well, to say I was underwhelmed because when you brought it up and I said, "Is that it?"
What, when I told you this is what it is?
Yeah,
it's an express conference.
And I'm going, that can't be it.
And I said, "This is it."
And he was right. It was it.
Yeah.
And to say I was underwhelmed was an understatement.
So I'm not knocking the paper. I'm not knocking the research. I'm not knocking what's been done. In fact, I'm going to read it and I'm going to watch the press conference.
Yeah. So our beef isn't about what's actually in the press conference or what is or isn't in the press conference. Mm-hmm. Our beef is in the way this has all been handled, and it's been handled really badly because you don't spin people along for 2 weeks. And
it's not just that, right? I'm also gonna address some of the things that other people regarding this said. One prominent person on Twitter said that this has been embargoed and put back because of Her Majesty the Queen's death, and he said that. That's not me, right? But he said that. Now, out of respect for the Queen's death, let me just put this into perspective. Out of respect for the Queen's death, you're going to let people die.
That's kind of what was said. Well, that's kind of what he means then.
Because if you want immediate action taken upon the publication and release of this document, which is what they're asking for, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why wait 15 more days? If it's
because
that
it
big,
would have been buried in the news.
But if it's that big, it would have been buried in the news. Well, if they're to be 100% believed, then because of that wait of 15 days, more people would have been buried in the ground.
That's
true.
Yeah. I mean, and that's our big beef. This is not how you handle these things. It just isn't. It just is not acceptable to behave like that.
It's not acceptable, and it's not acceptable to string people along. And the vast reality of the situation is that, unfortunately, unless BBC News, Sky News, ITV, Channel 4, all of these run this stuff, the masses will never know.
Yeah, and of course, you know what's going to happen? We're going to be the reason why it's not being covered by the mainstream media.
Oh yeah, that's already been tried, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So the original person said that because of what we did last night, the mainstream media will now work to bury it. Excuse me? Well, it's been being advertised by James Wells, by Tess Lawrie, by others long before we said anything.
Yeah.
Long before we said a thing. It's been being publicly advertised on Twitter. Mr. Wells has been putting out a flyer since long before we said anything.
Yeah, and Dr. Tess Laurie said it quite openly on BNT and explained what it was about.
Yeah.
And why it was important.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no reason why it was being delayed.
Well, that's the thing. My point here is this. As it was public knowledge, like we can point to James Wells, who's been putting out a flyer for a long time, longer than we've been saying anything, and we can point to Tess Laurie and others that have been talking about this press conference. What on earth made people think that pretending that this press conference that was being publicly advertised was a secret was a good idea?
It feeds into this conspiratorial mindset that people have, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah.
It just perpetuates the issues. You know what I mean? Because people are saying, the mainstream media will bury this. They'll be on the government will be on the phone to their MSN moles to get it killed off. Well, why do you think why would the MSN be covering it in the first place? Did you send them an invite?
Well,
and if you did you tell them what it was about? Because I'm sure if you sent them an invite and said, oh, this is groundbreaking and irrefutable evidence, they'd go, oh my God, we must go to this. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure how it makes any difference to whether MSN would cover it or not, whether it comes out 2 weeks ago, yesterday, or now. So
I'm going to make a bold prediction here, and it's just going to be people like us, independent journalists in the room. I don't, like I say, I don't mean to knock this or what's going on, but the way this has been handled, and you can see the disappointment on people after, we turned around and said, yeah, it is this thing that everyone else is already advertising. So it's not our fault when other people are putting out flyers, when other people are going on other shows and saying we're doing this. It's not our fault to call out people who are stringing people along for likes, retweets, and follows.
Yeah, especially when the people that purport to be their boss have already explained what's happening, right?
Yeah. So
there seems to be maybe a disjoint in the communications within this organization, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad marketing campaign that's gone wrong, isn't it? To diminish what we've done, we've just disrupted that.
Yeah.
And you know what? On the flip side of it, all of the trolls from every angle are coming after us as well.
Yeah. But, they always do. We're used to that.
Yeah, we
happens. Right. So the theme of this episode is fallen heroes, and I think we've covered some of them who haven't come out of this and covered themselves in glory. And have a look at the thumbnail. But what about who have we got up now? We've got what about?
Well, this really isn't a fallen hero, is it?
No, we're not ready for this yet.
Okay.
You've jumped the gun. Right?
I've gone on to the.
We're still talking about fallen heroes.
It's all right.
Right. So anyway, Mr. Biden. Mr. Biden's going to be a bit of a fallen hero if what happens comes true, in that the Democrat Party are talking about dumping him in favour of Hillary for 2024.
Well, what choice do they have but to dump him in favour of somebody else? The man has no mental faculties about him. He's got nothing, right? He's doing it again just the other night, shaking hands with ghosts, walking around the stage, not knowing where he is. How is he still in office now? I don't understand.
Because he doesn't really run the country.
Yeah.
He's just a figurehead.
SCP.org, going back to our last statement just now, it says, has been any official press release from Laurie et al. If you go to James Freeman or James Wells' Twitter account, you will find a press release there. They've been putting it out since long before we were talking about it. But somehow it's our fault.
Yeah, and they've released the paper last night at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, they did. They released the paper early. I assume because of what we did.
Yes,
but so back to Biden anyway.
So I mean, you're right. You're right. Of course, you're right. I mean, the man's an empty shell.
I generally am right. So
he's not the person he used to be. And for all Joe Biden's faults, he used to be quite a switched on character.
Oh yeah, quite racist.
I mean, I'm not going to go into his personal politics, but he used to be quite a switched on character, you know, and he was sharp. He wasn't a doddery old fool, but he is now. You know, so really it probably comes to us all in time.
Yeah, well, believe me, I expect to be in that mental state by the time I'm about 45, so I don't think I've got long left. But
I'm expecting you to be in that mental state by Tuesday, the way things are going.
so there's a link in our chat right now, once again, saying James tweeted out, James Freeman or James tweeted out the tweeted out the thing on the 23rd. Today is the 26th,
Yeah,
and we did this yesterday.
yeah, but I mean, okay, we were a bit slack.
Yeah,
we were late in catching up with, you know, what's on your put out on Friday, but you picked it up very quickly as soon as we watched it.
Absolutely.
And then we didn't dally. We didn't spend a week teasing you about something. We just told you, boom, here you go.
Here you go.
I think
That's
it
what
took
they're
us
talking about.
10 minutes in the show to get to the point, and that was only because I had to get pulled away for a brief.
We did that purely because we were frustrated, and we felt that frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could see all of the other
you know
people
what?
being frustrated.
You know what? We wouldn't even have been digging about it if it hadn't been teased in the first place.
Absolutely right, John.
And we wouldn't have been talking about potential illegal activities regarding charities if it hadn't been teased in the first place.
You're absolutely right, John.
So,
You might as well press the "That's True" button for yourself, John.
thanks.
That's true.
There you go.
Right, thank you. Anyway, so that's Biden and Clinton. So
yeah, anyway, jumping
Clinton
in,
v. Trump.
I would very much like to see the Trump-Clinton rematch because I think that would be one hilarious campaign.
I'd just like to see them stripped to the waist and sort it out in a bath of mud.
Yeah, that's it. I think it needs to be done. That's it. You heard it right here on Chasing Dissent First. We are suggesting that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump settle their differences with mud wrestling.
Yes, non-violently, of course.
So, moving on from Mr. Biden, who else's
Right.
heroes have fallen?
Well, that famous lawyer who brought down Volkswagen, right?
Rainer Fulmich.
Plus yeah, who seems to have traded on the coattails of that escapade ever since, and really has, to my mind, I don't think he's done anything of great note. He's talked a great game.
He's talked a great game, and what Rainer Fulmich has done quite often is he's done these mock trials. So you'll sit in a room, they'll present loads of evidence to people that are sitting and essentially pretending to be judges, and then they'll put these out and go, look what we did. And it's like, well, what did you do? You sat in a room and you played pretend.
Well, it's like the UFO disclosure thing. You know, you get the press club together and you sit there and you go, yes, we'll disclose it, and then you go, what was all that about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Rainer Fulmich, American-German lawyer, and yeah, he does have some great achievements behind him.
But you've got to say, the money was only resting in that land.
So there has been an allegation, and at this point it is merely an allegation. So Rainer, and I forget the other woman's name, but they were joint heads of the Corona Commission. And she's now made a video alleging he essentially embezzled 1.3 million euros.
Not an insubstantial sum.
So that she's
But
saying,
he's made a counter allegation, hasn't he?
yeah, that she's embezzled 100,000 euros or something along the lines. Essentially, what they're saying is he charged 600,000 euros for services of handling emails to his law firm that was paid.
Well,
Despite...
that sounds like a regular lawyer's rate.
But
to be fair.
no. Let me finish. Because apparently Rainer Fulmich and his law firm did not handle the Corona Investigative Committee's emails at all. So that's what.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's been getting emails.
And then it's said that he took 700,000 euros out of the pot to put into some land and buy a house.
Yeah.
And
who owns this land?
Rainer Fulmich.
Ah, right. Okay.
So he is counter-alleging something along the lines of, and Reiner, if you ever see this, we'd love to talk to you. But he is counter-alleging that what they did was he took 700,000, she took 100,000, and they took it and put it into things so that if anyone came for the Corona Investigative Committee's money, that money was still available. But how is that money still available if it's tied up in land? Now, what Reiner says is is that the land is worth more than 700,000 euros, way more. So if he needed to do a quick sale, he could easily pull the 700,000 euros back out and put it back in the pot.
Yes, okay. That's how embezzlement works, is it not? He's been watching Father Ted, hasn't he?
Well,
he's been watching the SMP, hasn't he? The money was only resting in my account.
Yeah, the money is only resting in Kleiner Fullmix land. I'm trying to learn to roll the R's.
No, you're not doing very well.
Kleiner.
Right, anyway.
Kleiner.
Right, so moving on, we have more fallen heroes that we have to talk about.
Yep.
We have to talk about those two fallen heroes from the breakfast couch
Phil
from
and
this
Holly.
morning. Phil and Holly. Because it turns out their names weren't even on the list to use the VIP.
No,
queue,
so it looks like they really jumped the queue. It looks.
Yes. So the excuse that ITV stroke this morning have come up with is they put the producers' names on it because they didn't want to give the Queen's, or sorry, they didn't want to give Buckingham Palace their real addresses. What, in case they got pestered?
So you've got a. You've got
Imagine getting pestered by Buckingham Palace all the time. Oh my God, it would be shocking.
I know, right? So Adam, you've got an article there. Do you want to read it for us?
Yes, this is from the Express. So obviously mainstream, take it with a pinch of salt. ITV launched a stern defence of Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield yesterday amid claims that they were never on the VIP list for the Queen's lying in state. Bosses insisted the TV hosts had full accreditation for the fast track queue. I wonder what that consists of, which spared them when the 14-hour wait facing members of the public. Spared them the 14-hour wait.
So what actually happened was they just turned up and said, "We're Holly and Phil, let us in."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I think that's what's happened.
I wonder how you get accredited for the special queue. What does that mean?
Well, you call.
You
You call or email a certain line, don't you? You say, "I'm this, that, and the other. We're from this organisation. Can we come in?" And then they email or phone back and go, "Yes."
No.
The whole thing caused a bit of a hoo-ha, apparently.
Indeed. Anyway, and we'll move on, I think.
Yeah.
The less said about that, pure the better. Liz Truss. Liz Truss has apparently suspended the legislation that would move to remove the oversight of the European Court of Human Rights on decisions that the UK makes. So she's suspended that.
She's not just
so
done that.
means you won't be sending people to Rwanda again. Right, anyway, carry on.
She's not just done that, has she? She's actually said that in order to grow and stimulate our economy, she's going to relax the immigration laws so more people can come in.
Well, yes, she has said that also. And how many more people does she want?
Well,
at this point.
Well, as we know, uncontrolled mass immigration drives down real-world wages. Right? You can call that a dog whistle. You can call it what you like. It's a fact. When you bring people in who are willing to do low-skilled, low-wage jobs, they do those low-skilled, low-wage jobs, and they do them for a pittance because that pittance is usually more than they can earn back home, right? And so if people who are living here want to get a job / need to get a job, and low-skilled, low-wage jobs are the only things going, the wages in real terms are driven down to the minimum wage, the living wage, if that's a thing, because they can be. Because those employers know that if you won't take that wage, someone else will.
Someone else will. There you go. And that's what happened when all the Polish truck drivers came over.
So, here we go. Truss suspends legislation to ban European Court of Human Rights from overruling UK courts. This doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Because like John said, this whole Rwanda thing, which was the big Tory immigration thing, it's not going to happen.
No.
Because the European Court of Human Rights can just step in and say, no.
No, you can't do that.
No.
And our last fallen hero today is Ian Brown. Adam. Adam, tell us what happened to Ian Brown.
Yes, I will find the tweet. Let me just find that, because that was quite amusing.
He had a gig, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And he set up this gig, and people paid, what, 40 quid a ticket?
Yep, £40.
In this day and age, that's actually relatively cheap.
Yeah, but you're going to find out why it's relatively cheap in a second. Because I think it appears he forgot to bring his band with him.
He did.
Yeah.
£40 a ticket, sold out gig in Leeds tonight with no band. I'm a lifelong fan, but it was bad. Ian Brown does karaoke and butchers his own tunes. Most were too pissed to care, but I had to get out after this one. Longsight M13 was a highlight.
So Ian Brown, formerly of the Stone Roses,
There he is, mate.
charged people £40 to come and watch him sing karaoke.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to his band. Do you think he planned that deliberately? Because there's no drum kit, there's no guitars or anything there.
I think his band probably went, fuck off, if you're not paying me, I'm not coming.
Maybe, but it is relatively amusing.
It is relatively amusing.
That he did. Let's face it, he got away with it. He got away with it because there's audiences there. They're dancing. Their hands are in the air.
Yeah.
If you go and find this tweet, because I don't know if Adam can play a sound.
Yes.
Can you play a sound?
Don't play sound.
No, I won't.
Don't play sound.
Well, if you
He's
go,
got a copyright strike.
if you go and find this tweet, it's a bloodbath.
Yes.
It's an absolute bloodbath. Poor Ian. Our hearts go out to Ian Brown. And that's not sarcastic at all.
Maybe the guy's just doing his best, you know?
Well, I can't get over. I mean, there are some people that just sing by themselves, and people pay a ticket to go and see that. That's a thing that does happen. But if you are expecting to go and see Ian Brown plus band live, then you should get what you paid for. But if it simply said Ian Brown on the ticket, loophole, baby.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Loophole.
Right, so tell me about Italy. What's happened there?
So, it looks like Italy have had enough of the leftish wing government and mandates, because a woman who got a very, very small amount of the vote last time around is now the Prime
doesn't
Minister.
She look pleased?
She does.
She's now the Prime Minister. So Adam, give us some further insight via the article that you've got there.
Yes, Italy's rightist alliance looks sure to win a parliamentary majority following Sunday's election, but its three main parties have different positions in important areas, which could hobble their administration. Here are some of the main potential sources of tension between Giorgia Meloni's brothers of Italy.
Right, forget that.
Forget
that nonsense. Right, forget all that nonsense, because you know what? It hasn't been much of a honeymoon period, because they're getting tore into her already. You know why?
Because they're anti.
She's just come out in support of vax passports.
Of passports?
Yeah.
Didn't she campaign against them?
Well, she's just said that she's in favour of it.
She campaigned against mandates. She campaigned against all of this in order to get votes.
Well, obviously, Big Papa Klaus has been on the phone and went, "Oh, Georgia, welcome to the club."
Welcome to the club.
This is what you have to say now.
David Nolan says, think that was an old clip, John, but fair point.
Was it? Yeah, okay.
Because it was my understanding that she actually campaigned against all of this, campaigned against the mandate and all of that.
But she's come out in favour of it in the past. So, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Rungus is on fire.
So here we go.
Right.
We give clarifications as they come. Okay. So David Nolan says
she's a flip flopper.
She previously supported the Green Pass but rallied against it since, and
okay.
So she's bandwagon jumping.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Okay. Right, my mistake.
Yeah.
Hands up. Right, Rungus is on fire.
Huh?
So this is one of the biggest markets in France, I believe, or
Yes.
it says in the world. I find that hard to believe, but
So the largest wholesale fresh produce market in the world is what they're saying.
they're saying that, but the French say lots of things. So
They do.
anyway, it's on fire. So everybody that's got a conspiracy saying we're not going to be eating this winter is feeling vindicated at the moment.
Well, let's face it.
Just
there
means
has
we'll be
been
eating insects.
There has been a alarming amount of food production places.
There has been
gone up in smoke over the last couple of years.
There has been. And but IKEA are going to save the day, aren't they, Adam? Because they're coming out with insect-based meatballs.
Yes. Well, we shouldn't talk about IKEA.
No,
Let's not
IKEA.
go down that rabbit hole.
No.
Perish the thought. Don't go down that rabbit hole. And it's not IKEA anyway. It's just the founder of IKEA.
Yes, the Inks Foundation.
Yes. Yeah. Let's not go there.
So people keep banging on about it's not NATO's fault for this minor thing that's going on in Ukraine. That is our security, because apparently Ukraine's security is our security. But we're looking at the map here of NATO in 1998 and NATO in 2022, and for an organisation that said it would not move eastwards after the fall of the Soviet Union, it kind of has.
It's moved pretty far eastward, isn't it?
And you've got to look at Sweden and Finland because they're about to jump in next.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can understand that someone might be feeling a bit of a pinch.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So, you know what? If you're going to say you're not going to move eastward, don't move eastwards.
Yeah. Well, whilst we definitely can't say it was NATO's fault, we can say they certainly had a hand in it, right?
Mm.
I think so.
I think that's fair to say, that they certainly had a hand in it.
And
there is no innocent party here.
No, there never will be. There never will be, mate, because governments are involved. And what are governments inherently?
Evil.
Yes.
Governments are indeed inherently evil. They don't care about you. They will never care about you. Stop pretending that they do.
They don't care. You can only ever look after yourself.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, John.
So Mr. Zelensky is talking up that there's a real possibility of nuclear war because he says that Putin isn't bluffing. Now, how would he know that? Or is this just another line?
We're back.
You can say that all you like.
Just refresh the stream.
Some nuclear issue going on there.
Refresh the stream. Yes, we should be back.
Yeah, we do appear. I can see us on Twitch, so
you can see yourself.
Yes, I can.
You're in big screen.
I am.
Yes, all good. So let's just continue with the show, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I'll just. Facebook's dead.
It's okay.
It's not coming back.
Okay, so Natasha says we're back on Twitch. So
right.
Our apologies for that. 5G went a bit haywire for a second there. Okay.
It may have been a residual EMP pulse from the 24th, maybe.
Well, I remember the 24th. We should talk about the 24th in a minute.
Where were you on the 24th?
Yeah, but before we do get to that, let's get through this.
Okay.
Yeah, so Zelensky says nuclear war could be a thing. I'm thinking it's just another. It's more bluster from him trying to keep his funding stream open so he can continue to house his parents in the style to which they've now become accustomed.
Yeah, I mean, look at his wife taking photos in a war zone for Vogue.
Well, every world leader and their auntie has been to visit him.
Even fucking Ben Stiller and Angelina Jolie, right? I mean, come on. You got Hollywood celebrities walking around in a war zone without a flak jacket on. Without anything, without any bulletproof vest. Has Liz Truss been yet? Because if not, she's probably going soon.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she's set up for it. I'm pretty sure she's going.
Yeah, well, of course she will.
I'm not quite sure when, but yeah.
She's already pledged him loads of our money, hasn't she?
Yeah, another 2.3 billion.
Another 2.3 billion. Well done.
2.3 billion.
That you're paying
Right.
for.
Yeah. Next, the UK is to double its defence budget by 2030.
That's not bad.
Why? Why is that not bad?
Do you know what? Because governments, one of their only reasons for being should be defence.
Okay. But who's attacking us?
Well, it's gonna be the big bad risky man, isn't it?
Well, no. I mean, when was the last time we were actually attacked? Was what? When Argentina took the Falklands in 1980? What was it? 2? 3,
Yes.
something like that. Right. So who's attacking us that we need to defend against?
Well, nobody at the moment, but the big bad risky man is coming, John.
War has changed, though, hasn't it?
Look around the corner. There he is. It's the
has
Russian.
it? Has it really?
Do you
Yeah, well,
remember?
the battleground is different now.
Do you
Yeah,
guys
what?
remember the Red Scare?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
We're back in the Red Scare.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Red Storm Rising. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is where it's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, and
Of
it's
course.
always Eastern European, Soviet Union, Russia, all of those. They're always the bad guys.
You know what's coming next?
What's that?
Ice Age.
Just like to point out there, do you know who played a bad guy in a James Bond movie?
Go on
Yes.
then.
Who was a Russian?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do know who that was.
Who was
Yeah.
it?
That famous Emmerdale actor.
It was that famous Emmerdale actor. Oh dear. Anyway, less said about that, the better.
Mr. Bond, I am going to have press conference.
Right. So
Not today.
So-
Not today.
So, Adam, have you got the tweet with the video? Because this apparently is how markets work. So these people are sitting having their dinner, and a CrossFit crew runs past in Brazil, right?
Right.
So could you start it from the start?
Yes, we'll do. There we go.
That would be- right. So they're all sitting having their dinner. CrossFit team run by.
Yep.
Okay. And then people start getting up and running after them because they think they're running away from something. What are they running away from? Godzilla? I mean, look at this guy in the bottom. He's like, what's happening? Why are
Listen,
they running? And then they go, oh, I better go as well.
I have
Could
an
be a scene from.
I have a real world example of this from Disneyland Paris, and I was there. Right.
Yep.
But that is exactly how economic markets work.
Yeah, but I can talk about this as well. This sort of reaction, it's real because they evacuated. So people started running and screaming through Disney Village in Disneyland Paris. People then started running and screaming out of all of the restaurants. They're all running. The army come in and shut down the entire fucking resort. Do you want?
Why?
Because an escalator banged to a halt.
Why were people running about screaming?
Because they thought we were a bomb.
Oh my god.
This is like what happens to the stock exchange when Elon Musk does a tweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody runs.
Yeah.
It's what happens to the pound. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
It's what happens to the pound when people go, oh my god, the world is falling in.
I mean, all of the people that were with me were going, what is wrong with you? Because I got on my mobility scooter and I was like, I want to go towards the danger. Right? And they're going, what is wrong with you? I'm going, there's nothing happened. It's one of the most secure places on the planet. There's nothing happened. I mean, once a man did get into Hotel New York with a bag full of guns, but he was caught. But still, you know, Natasha says it best in the chat, lemmings.
Yeah.
We're living in
It's
a
a
world
thing, isn't
of
it?
yeah, we're living in a world of lemmings. And do you know what? I now want to go and play lemmings after this show.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, you go back to 1995 or whatever it was.
Did you actually ever want to win that, or did you just want to murder them all?
Oh, I didn't realize you were supposed to try and win it. Were you meant to save them?
Yeah,
I thought you
they had to
killed
go
them as quickly as you could.
No, they had to go through the gate to heaven at the end, didn't they?
No,
So they kinda
Surely
died.
you just killed them as quickly as you could.
Well, you that's what I did. It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, the old PC game Roller Coaster Tycoon. I used to build shuttle launch roller coasters and then ramp the speed up well too fast so they just go flying off the end of the track and crash and explode.
Cool.
It was good fun.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
And then they built Smiler.
Yes. For legal reasons, we can't go into that.
Yeah,
I've got a logo from that roller coaster tattooed on the back of my left leg, and then a few weeks later, two people lost their left leg on it. Bit of a creepy indeed.
Right. So the man with the large prosthetic breasts in the Canadian school.
Yeah.
We're now being kind of asking: was it a setup? Was he gaming the system? There's some indication that he's playing it or he's exploiting how they're doing things. In fact, there's a protest there today.
Yes.
Saying get the woke out of schools.
So is he a troll? Is what we are getting at here?
Well, is he a troll? I mean, I don't think the other guy dressed in a furry suit is a troll. I think he's just been.
So it's been suggested. Is that on Reddit, Adam?
This is a tweet from Reddit. It looks like, or some forum somewhere.
And it says, I can't read that. It says, this dude is gaming the system, and Anon here yesterday was in the dude's class. The teacher was almost fired for toxic masculinity last year, as well as not embracing woke culture. He dropped red pills to his class, such as how silly gender-neutral bathrooms are. The school board hates him. He's now upping the ante to exploit the very clown world the school and society itself created. His long game is most likely to get fired and then sue for discrimination. There is no other explanation, no better way to troll clown world than to become an over-the-top caricature of a woman.
He does have a point, doesn't he?
So DW says that looks like it was from 4chan.
Yeah, maybe.
So is this guy a troll? Is he gaming?
Well, that's the question. But regardless of whether he is or isn't a troll, the school or the pupils or students or whatever you call them appear to be taking it in the right spirit, i.e., they are protesting against the wokeism that's going on. So I think, regardless of whether he's a troll or not, the actual outcome seems to be that people are actually maybe coming to their senses.
So I want to get a new graphic that pops up on screen when it's time, right? And it just says rant time.
Oh God, here we go.
Because it's taken far too long for people to come to their senses and purge this insane, racist, sexist, misogynist, woke culture from their institutions. And yes, I am using their own words against them. Because that's what it is. Critical race theory, totally racist. Militant trans theory, totally sexist. It's all ridiculous. And this stuff has been allowed to permeate, has been allowed to fester, and infect the minds of your children. Now, if you're a good, decent parent, you come home when they're saying this stuff and say, shut up, that's not true. But many people have not done that. And when we look at college campuses, especially in the United States, it's like a woke Marxist hellhole. Pretty much anywhere you go.
Yeah.
They've brainwashed your kids into believing this absolute hateful nonsense.
Speaking of brainwashing, Adam, the church window was replaced. The stained glass church window was replaced by what?
Church replaces Edward Colston's stained glass window with Jesus in a migrant boat.
What the hell is Jesus thinking? I thought Jesus lived in a desert. And when he did need to get across the sea, could he not just park it or walk over it?
Well, I'm not sure that is Jesus. It looks a bit like a lady to me.
Well, I can see what's gone on.
How can you? You're making assumptions there that you can't.
I am. Yes, yeah, I'm sorry.
So about a year and a half ago, maybe a bit more than that, a bunch of woke idiots dumped an Edward Colston statue in, was it Bristol Harbour?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they pulled it down, they vandalised it, and they threw it in the harbour and did not get any criminal conviction for what they did. It looks like that's a shot from the judiciary that says that as long as you believe it's some kind of problematic thing and it goes against your woke orthodoxy, you can destroy it.
Yeah.
So, looks like this church has been so fucking terrified of
It's going to get its window banged
it's going to
in.
get its windows
Yeah.
banged in, that what they've done is they've removed the Edward Colston stained glass window and put in something as woke and stupid as they can think of to appease the mob. That's what's gone on here.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably one of the most ridiculous stained glass windows I've ever seen.
Well, yeah. I mean, but let them have their silly little window, right? We can just laugh at it.
Okay, moving on. I'd like to dedicate the next section to Ben.
To me.
Yes, to you, Ben.
I'm a bit scared
if
now.
If anyone can tell us about this, it would be you.
Oh. I don't know if I want to, because just thinking about it is hurting my teeth.
You've had some experience of this over the last year or so, haven't you?
A bit more than that. So I'll give you the full rundown. So
Do you want me to read this?
yeah, go
While
for
you
it.
go
Go
into
for
it,
Go for it. You go.
I'll
for
just read it. A shocking poll reveals some are turning to DIY dentistry to pull out their own teeth.
Mhm.
It comes as a less than 1 in 3 people have seen an NHS dentist in Plymouth in the last 2 years. The proportion of people who visited an NHS dentist has plummeted over the last 5 years, and it's been revealed that 1 in 5 people who failed to get an NHS dentist appointment in the past year, 21%, turned to a DIY approach, meaning they either extracted their own teeth or performed another procedure on themselves. Go
And
for it, Ben.
tell us about those other procedures, Ben.
Okay, so I'll give you the full rundown. So the day before the first lockdown was announced, I had
Yeah.
a root canal, right?
Yeah.
In a tooth that no longer exists. So I had a root canal that they could not finish because one of their machines that they were using was broken. They said, we'll get it repaired. Come back tomorrow. We'll finish your root canal. They left me in absolute agony.
No dentistry for you, mate.
So I did return to the dentist the day we'd been ordered to lock down, and he was just sitting there in the reception saying, I can't do any dentistry work on you. I can't do anything. So, that obviously is cancelled, and I am left in absolute agony for weeks. At this point, when the dentists finally reopen, the same issue occurs. So I get the appointment, the machine's broken. They cannot complete the root canal. Okay. I then get an appointment for a few weeks later, come back a few weeks later. They cancel that appointment. They never issue me a replacement appointment. I then phoned up. I gave it a good 6 months for them to get their act together. I've been taking antibiotics and the like. I then phoned up and said, are we going to get this done? They said, I'm sorry, you didn't attend the appointments. You've been struck off our register. I said, what appointments? They said, the appointments we made you and you didn't attend. We made you one, you didn't come. We made you another, you didn't come. That didn't happen. You never told me. So I now have no dentist. That tooth that was meant to have the root canal completed exploded in my mouth about 7 months ago. Just bang. Fell into pieces. There's actually still pieces of it still in the gum. Then a tooth over here fell in half. The whole top half of it fell out. So what am I doing right now, John?
Well, you appear to be super gluing it in on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
This sector was not sponsored by Loctite, but if you feel that you'd like to, we're open to requests.
So I am doing DIY dentistry because I have no dentist. Because I was struck off because of what they did. And now I'm being forced to put my teeth together with super glue. With super glue.
I know I mean, and there are, I would say, thousands of people in the same boat in the country just now.
And I wonder if those, the pains and the head pains I get could be contributing towards the seizures I now once again have.
Nice. And anyway, to wind up, we have a couple of light-hearted looks.
Please,
That,
yeah.
that, as always, has come from the New York Post. The gift that keeps on
we
giving.
love the New York Post over here.
So you've got to give this guy 100% for bearing a grudge, right? This guy has taken it to a completely new level.
Yep.
So 48-year grudge, pees on his ex-wife's grave every day.
What the fuck did she do? Can you go into that?
Yes,
I want to know what the ex-wife did that's so egregious. That 48-year grudge of pissing on her grave every day. Give us a story, Adam.
Right. Man had apparent 48-year grudge and has been going each morning to urinate on the grave of his ex, much to the horror of her furious kids, who realised something was wrong when they discovered bags of poop left at their mum's final resting place.
He's done more than urinate.
Yeah.
I felt like getting out and killing him, said Michael Andrew Murphy, 43, told the Post of what it was like to catch the man he says had been desecrating the burial site of his mum, Linda Torello.
What did she do? That's what I want to know. What did she do?
You're never going to find out.
Oh, look! Oh, go back up to that picture. He looks mean.
That's not the guy pissing.
No,
that's
I know
the
it's not.
Son.
That's the angry son.
Is it his dad though?
Don't know.
But there he is. Look.
Right, what's the score?
There's a good old boy whipping it out, pissing on the grave.
He's not revealing why. Yeah, he's not, and he's not responded to the call.
So
there you go. You're never going to find it. Never. And just in case you haven't had enough, then
what have we got here?
You can now buy vagina flavoured crisps.
Why?
So that those woke soy boys can get a taste of what it actually feels like.
No preservatives.
One would hope so.
Another lovely thing brought to you by the annals of the New York Post.
You know what? I hope the New York Post lives long and prospers, as Mr. Spock would say.
The New York Post is fun.
They are the gift that keeps on giving, and I hope they keep giving forever.
New York and there Post. You have it. There you have it.
Oh, are we done, John?
Yes, I'm done. Are you done?
Yeah, I am done. We should make a quick mention that you cannot follow us on Twitter anymore, but other than that, go and follow us on Gettr, or on Gab, or on Truth, or things like that. Kind of
stuff.
And Adam will continue to run our press over on Twitter, despite the fact his main account is no longer with us, shall we say.
There will be lots of people sharing our information, sharing our stories on Twitter, so this will not stop us.
And I mean, at the end of the day, what people need to understand is this: our goal is to entertain you and to bring you the news. It was never to tell you what to think. It was never to tell you to believe us. And if anybody tries to misquote or misrepresent us in any way, shape, or form, come straight to us, because we never tell you what to think. We never tell you what to believe. We're having a laugh. We hope you're having a laugh. And if you're not having a laugh, you don't have to watch. It's as simple as that.
And with that, I'd like to thank you, one and all, for attending this episode 128 of Chasing Dissent Live from me, from Adam, and from Ben.
And if you'd like to support us, you can do so by heading to patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent, or co-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. And if you do support us, you get access to the after party every Wednesday and Sunday at 9 PM, which is just a good old laugh. We had a good fun in the after party. It was a good one. It went on for like 90 minutes last night, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was a good one. We had a good fun.
So there you go. Have a good day.
Bye now.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Time for this evening, so it's good night from me, and it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Stop playing with my bust!
Good night, everyone.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy.
You're a what?
A pianist!
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
You have been a delightful audience to talk. Good night. Thank you.
Oh, my bottom hurts. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob.
Oh, I did love that hamster so. I took it into bed with me every night, you know.
Good night, everybody.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have to go now. I've been standing here for a very long time. I think the end of the show must have come and gone.
There you go. That's our solar system. You forgot Uranus. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. You've been very nice to work to.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.